right-hand side, the ship just cutting through the waves, reminding us of all the Cunard queens which were built in this area of the Clyde. A great site for controlling who or what was sailing up and down the river. And just keep looking left, you'll see what looks like the City Opera House. This is one of our exhibition spaces, just in the gap. Built in 1901, but behind it, the highest steeple with the gold on the top, is Glasgow Cathedral. Now that is the oldest part of Glasgow. Walking dogs, etc. They are markedly improved to how they used to look.
Well, it only be 15 miles across the channel, so yeah,
For your own safety and comfort, passengers are requested not to lean out of the windows or open the doors.
This weekend. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's really nice. She had her or men of honor. Oh, did she? Yes, she said my brothers.
They're feeling a little bit nervous at the fact that they saw me wearing this life preserver. I will just happily go and explain this to you, sir. Folks, is because we work outside of the vessel. We do jobs that put us at risk, at danger of falling in the water. Whilst you guys are inside the vessel here, you don't have any issue. Please just take all instructions from myself and James. I'm going to point out the emergency exits for you quickly, just so you are aware of where they are, and then onto that I'll tell you about what's going to happen on the trip. Okay? Going out onto the back deck, and the final one is behind me here. Again, another step onto the front deck. Don't worry about this one not looking like a very good emergency exit, as at the moment you could just quite gladly walk out of there. There is a little door at the front here that's normally closed, but since today is quite warm, I'm quite happy to leave that open for a bit of ventilation. It's about 12 hours. Oh, yes. So, although it sounds very nice, you can imagine what it'd be like sitting on those seats for 12 hours.
In the central machine room, an array of 10 hydraulic motors begins to rotate a central axle, which is carried on bearings at both ends. The two gondolas are always kept in an upright position by a simple system of gears. Two 8-metre wide outer wheels orbit a fixed inner column. Floating objects displace their own weight in water. So when a boat enters the gondola, the weight of water displaced will equal in Glasgow and Edinburgh. Originally, the boats using the canals would have been pulled along by horses, but these were replaced by steam-powered vessels. The Edinburgh and Glasgow Railway was opened in 1842, and it ran alongside the canal for much of its length.
This is going to be because we have all of the Have to make 2 different towers, one for the airport and one for the cruise.
In the 11 o'clock position, about 40 miles away, just on the horizon, you can see some of the tops of the Trossachs Mountains up there. Very high winds. It would be up to us on the boats to say it wasn't safe enough for them. Anybody else? Or any vessel that arrives here looking to use the wheel. Up until last year. Which then, in turn, is contributing to the canal system. Whereas the kayaks don't contribute anything. So for them to use the wheel, then they get a small charge to go through. That's the only ones that do, as I say, for safety and things. But anywhere just top of the locks at the top there on the full stretch of canal there, or just below us here at the bottom of this lock, then people are free to fish whenever they choose.
Another gift shop at the entrance to the castle. You do not need a ticket to go in there. You will see at the front.
Really, it's not fair.
No, Captain, he was wrong.
Did you finish with your phone call?
Yeah, I did.
You know what it was about?
Yeah, just the Regal. Oh, it's pulled up again.
Left movement up to the right.
In Belfast from the elements, but the further west you go in the United Kingdom, the more likely you are to have rain. Portrush, probably looking at those long terraces of white houses, and you have echoes there.
it was.
I've got a sense of achievement, I think.
Yep.
Oh, you hurting my dad. Oh, my dad almost.
Wow.
And even home. It's like,
all that remains of it. That's sad, isn't it? And that was once the site for the very, very powerful Dunseverick Castle. And as we come down here, do you see what I mean about the similarity in site? How the other castle was built on what was virtually an island, as is that one there. By the way, on the horizon straight out at sea, you can now see the island of Ireland. Thanks, Kenny. Yes. You remember we passed the entrance to it back about a mile and a half? No coal in Ireland. Very, very little. And Hugh Boyd organised for the people to mine the coal. He actually built the harbour there as well, and a small railway to bring it round to the harbour. He started a glass-making plant here, and he was also into organising them to pan salt. Salt, of course, was very, very important. It takes about 2 hours to go to Scotland by ferry. Very easy journey to make. We would frequently make it. Yes, you could put the coach onto the boat. I'm sure Kenny has dozens of times going back and forth to Scotland. Keeps the level of the water at a certain level upstream, because the river is tidal here, and if you're in Dublin when the tide goes out, it's horrible, stinking, muddy flats, but here in Belfast we keep the level of it up at a certain point upstream, so that's produced all those lovely developments you see on up there. Able to see you, to show you a modern European city in the making after many years of trouble and difficulty. George's Market on the left. I'm happy to tell you that it has been revived for artisan crafts, and it now is functioning again at the weekends. Detail in the carving and the stonework gets more and more intricate the higher up it gets. In Cleaver, going back to the 1800s. Do you know what they did? If you were a really good customer, look up above the blue parasols, you got a bust of yourself put onto the wall. So now the headquarters of the Ulster Bank. After the recent banking crisis, probably more prayers been offered up there now. On your right-hand side, the Titanic Memorial. One here, the third one, the third one from the right-hand end here. And refused to wear prison clothes because they said they were not criminals, they were in fact political prisoners. Not political. These have been put up by the city council to try and hide what is actually a real eyesore here. To see is this paramilitary mural here on your left-hand side. I don't think we need that sort of thing in Northern Ireland anymore, with people holding guns and glorifying violence. But don't think that that was the only outrage, and don't think for a minute that the outrages were confined. It actually flows into it. The silvery monument there in the middle, that is the Titanic Visitor Centre. You see the two oil rigs very clearly there. And the large red brick building on your left-hand side there, that is the Odyssey Arena.